Have you ever wondered what makes bubble gum so addictive to chew and so perfect for blowing giant bubbles? Every year, hundreds of billions of pieces of chewing gum are consumed around the world. And inside modern factories, more than 1 million pieces can be produced in just 1 hour. So how is bubble gum actually made? Today, we're taking you inside the full industrial manufacturing process of bubble gum, from raw ingredients all the way to the finished product. It all starts with the ingredients. To make a single piece of bubble gum, manufacturers really only need 4 core components: gum base, sugar, glucose syrup, and flavoring. But one ingredient stands out from the rest: gum base. That's the part that gives bubble gum its signature chew, its stretch, and that perfect elastic snap that lets you blow those big, glossy bubbles. At first glance, gum base doesn't look very exciting. It's dense, smooth, almost odorless, kind of like a block of soft plastic. But its job is everything. In modern factories, gum base is usually a food-grade formulation made from elastic polymers, resins, waxes, and stabilizing agents. It's engineered for consistency, so every batch has nearly the same texture, stretch, and performance on the line. For some organic gum products, though, the story goes in a different direction. The base can come from the sap of the Chico sapote tree in Central America. That natural latex is harvested, concentrated into a material called chicle, and then further processed into the core foundation of the gum itself. Next comes the sugar. But in a bubblegum factory, this isn't the kind of sugar you scoop out of a kitchen bag. It arrives in massive industrial sacks ready for high-volume production, and there's a reason for that. In many formulas, sugar makes up nearly 40% of the gum's total weight. So this is not some minor ingredient. It's a major part of the build. Before it ever hits the mixer, the sugar has to be ground down into an ultra-fine powder. Why? Because it needs to blend fast, spread evenly, and melt smoothly into the gum mass. If the sugar crystals are too coarse, you'll feel it right away. The gum turns gritty, the texture becomes uneven, and that soft, smooth chew bubble gum is known for starts to disappear. Then comes glucose syrup. It may sound like a simple ingredient, but it plays a huge role in how bubble gum comes together. Most of the time, this syrup is derived from corn. Once it goes into the batch, it acts like a powerful binder. It pulls the gum base and sugar together into one uniform mass. But that's only part of the job. Glucose syrup also helps create that soft, flexible texture bubble gum needs. It controls stickiness, improves the chew, and gives the gum that smooth, stretchy feel people instantly recognize. This is the moment the separate ingredients finally start turning into real bubble gum. First, the gum base goes into a heavy-duty kneading mixer. It works a lot like an industrial dough mixer, but built to handle a much denser, heavier, more elastic mass. Then the glucose syrup goes in first. That step matters. The syrup coats the gum base, making the batch softer, smoother, and much easier to work through the next stage of mixing. And the ratio has to be tightly controlled. Too little, and the mass stays dry and tough. Too much, and it turns overly soft, sticky, and hard to shape. Once the gum base reaches the right softness and flexibility, the sugar is added, not before. If sugar goes in at the wrong time, the mixture can dry out too early, blend unevenly, and lose the uniform texture manufacturers are aiming for. After about 16 minutes of continuous kneading, the batch transforms into a thick, sticky, elastic gum mass with a smooth, consistent structure. Once the base mass is formed, the factory adds the ingredients that define each bubble gum's signature look and taste. Flavoring and food coloring. This is where familiar flavors like strawberry, grape, watermelon, and mint enter the batch. It's also where those bright, eye-catching colors are introduced, giving the gum its first real visual identity. But this step is more delicate than it sounds. Flavor compounds are highly volatile. Add them at the wrong moment, and a lot of that aroma can vanish before it ever reaches the final product. So the process has to be tightly controlled. Once the gum reaches the right stretch, smoothness, and internal consistency, the finished mass is loaded onto stainless steel carts and moved to the pre-extruder. Inside the machine, a heavy-duty screw conveyor starts turning, slowly forcing the gum forward under high but carefully controlled pressure. Then the gum is pushed through a metal die and emerges as one long, continuous rope with a fairly uniform cross-section. It may look simple, but this step is critical, because this is where the product line starts to lock into shape. That first continuous strand sets the foundation for everything that comes next: cutting, sizing, forming, and all the downstream processing that turns raw gum into finished pieces. Now that the gum has been extruded into a continuous strip, it's cut to the right length and sent to the next forming stage. If it's going to be round bubble gum, the strips move into a forming machine known as a boleadora, basically a ball rolling unit. Inside, the gum is divided and rolled continuously until it becomes smooth, uniform pieces with a consistent size and shape. Depending on the product format, the gum can be rolled into balls, flattened into sheets, or cut into sticks, each one preparing the batch for the final steps like coating, wrapping, and packaging. After the gum is rolled or formed, the entire batch is moved into a cold room and conditioned for about 6 to 12 hours, usually at temperatures between 37 and 45 degrees Fahrenheit. This is where the gum gradually stabilizes after forming. The temperature levels out, the firmness starts to set, moisture becomes more balanced throughout the product. Next comes panning. At this point, the factory applies a food-grade coating syrup made from sugar syrup, glucose, colorants, and a small amount of flavoring. This liquid coating is what gives the gum its finished surface. Bubble gum absorbs moisture fast, so if the room conditions aren't tightly controlled, the pieces can soften too much, and the coating won't set or adhere the way it should. As the coating pan rotates, the colored syrup is added gradually, little by little, so it spreads evenly across the surface of the gum. It's not poured on in one thick layer. Instead, the shell is built up through many ultra-thin coats with repeated cycles of tumbling and drying in between. That's how the factory gets an even color, a smooth surface, and a finish that doesn't streak or run. Layer by layer, the gum develops a uniform color, a glossy shell, and a much more polished, final look. And throughout the entire line, technicians are constantly checking the product, monitoring texture, size, color, and weight to make sure every single piece meets the same standard. Once the gum is finished, it moves into the final packaging stage. Each piece is individually wrapped in wax paper or foil to keep it from sticking, lock in freshness, and protect it from moisture in the air. The gum feeds into the machine. The wrapper is cut to size. It's folded around each piece. Then the ends are twisted or heat-sealed shut. Every part of that system has to be dialed in with precision so each piece comes out nearly identical. And the speed is enormous. A single wrapping machine can handle around 130 pieces per minute. An entire production line can turn out as many as 17 million pieces in a single day. Even the wrapping material alone can stretch to nearly 1.2 million meters every day. The product usually passes through final inspections for weight, wrapper defects, and other quality issues. Any off-spec pieces are automatically rejected. The approved gum is then loaded into large bags, about 380 pieces per bag, and heat-sealed shut. At the very end of the line, robots take over again, packing cartons, stacking pallets, and loading shipments for distribution. And that's the full journey behind a single piece of bubble gum. Small, colorful. So which part of the process surprised you the most? Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more factory deep dives like this one. See you in the next video.